Ready or not, here we
Wait, are we going live like right now?
Yep.
What a
Yeah.
fantasy.
And apparently my friend is playing the David S. Pumpkins dance.
Perfect.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. I am Nerd, aka Kate, your benevolent goblin overlord and host of the Out of Character podcast. I have with me the Run of the Mill Productions team, or at least a chunk of it. If each of you would like to kind of go around and introduce yourself and then give us a little bit of your background, that would be great.
Cool. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Rich LeMay. I am the co-founder and executive producer of Run of the Mill Theater Productions. And let's see, I've been doing theater in the Iowa City area since, 2011 or so. And yeah, I love doing D&D. I love acting, directing, scenic design. So I am the jack of many trades and the master of none.
Awesome.
I guess I'll go next.
Yep.
So
Going
I
in.
go by Natalie V. Black. And I am, what is my title? Tactical producer or assistant producer for Run of the Mill Theater Productions. And I have no background in theater prior to my experience with ROM, what's the words? We
Collided?
just sure.
Collaborated?
We call it Run of the Mill ROM for short because Run of the Mill Theater Productions is really long to say. And yeah, so that is me. I don't know.
Andrew?
Yeah. Andrew Cole. I've been doing theater probably, I think around 2011 as well too. Started off with doing a couple of university productions while I was still in school. I kind of got a late start on acting, and I was a senior in college. But yeah, a couple through the university, then went into a lot of community theater with ICCT, and I did some Washington theater, Washington Community Theater, and then also went back and I was kind of a stock actor for an organization called the District Theater back in Rock Island, the Quad City area where I'm from. So, but yeah, no, collided with Rich and this ROM organization, which has been a blast over the last. I was just thinking about it. It's been like about a year or so.
Yeah.
Last summer, a little over a year that I've been a part of ROM, and I kind of came on as an actor and then transitioned to the board, but just excited to be a part of creating and storytelling. So
Awesome. Kira?
Yeah, hi, I'm Kira. I am the newest member of ROM, and I don't really think you can call me a board member, but yeah, I joined ROM in the late summer, like September or something. I am an exchange student from Germany, and I'm only here for the year, so I'm only going to be in this group for a while, but I'm so excited. I just showed up to auditions and I met all of these amazing people, and here we are a couple months later. And I'm really glad that I found everybody. I've been doing theater back home since pretty much elementary school. I think I was 8 or something when I first played a character. And I've been doing it all throughout high school. I've helped found an English theater group at my German university. And we have been doing pretty much everything from writing our own stuff to performing to putting on skits, plays, and we had the honor of doing 2 international student theater festivals where we got to go abroad. So the first one was 2015, we went to Morocco, and then 2019, we went to Hungary. And those were the highlights, without a doubt, of everything I've done so far.
That sounds amazing. Uh, I have been doing theater off and on since high school. I was involved in high school production wise. I never really acted because I never got along with my director. But I did sets, I did makeup, I did costumes, I did stage managing, I did a bit of everything. Since then, I've now gotten my foot into acting a bit more, and most of my experience is on the production side of things. I did burlesque and did production with that. I acted in a production of the Vagina Monologues back in, I think, 15, 16, something like that. But yeah, and now like Andrew, I've been with the group for about a year on the board, and yeah, thank you, Natalie, for getting me recruited.
Yeah, no problem.
Don't forget about Shattuck. Don't forget
Oh
about
yes, and I do perform with a Renaissance stage fighting group called Shattuck
So
School
cool.
of Defense.
Nice.
Yes. So we'll kind of go around, starting with Rich again. What was the first character that you ever created or played, and how old were you?
I'm just trying to think. First character I ever like truly created, I guess out of nowhere, would have been Gracchus. Is one of, no, it was not Gracchus. He's my favorite. But
We'll get
his
to
name's
that.
Rardrix. He's a dragonborn. This is through D&D.
Nice.
I took a lot of inspiration from Vegeta of Dragon Ball Z when trying to create him. So his character, he's a soldier. He was kicked out of, like, shamefully discharged from the royal army of his homeland because he just wants to be the strongest everything fighter. And so he allowed, like, this big name enemy to escape because he didn't follow orders and decided to try to fight him on his own. So he gets banished, and then he goes, and then he meets all his new friends in this adventure that my friend created.
Nice. Is he over 9,000?
Yeah. It's over 9,000. Yeah, exactly. Very much so. Yeah.
And
So that was Roderick's.
how old were you?
And I was like, I'd say about 27.
Okay.
So like I got into D&D late. But I mean, I've acted and played other characters, but creating brand new characters is somewhat new to me. I'm not really a writer. And in some ways I'm not as creative when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I love immersing myself into characters that already exist and making them my own, but creating something out of nothing is kind of new for me.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nat?
So I'm kind of the opposite of Rich here, in the sense that I am totally new to the theater world, but character creation and acting as characters is not new to me. So essentially, my best friend growing up, since we were probably in third grade, she introduced me to live action roleplay. And yeah. So, but not in like the formal ways that it can be done. So essentially, we just, our entire friendship was creating and drawing characters and being them. So in every minute of every day, it would be like, okay, who's your character now? We would just say character, and then, okay, and then we'd start.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. So like ever since I was 8, we had been doing that. So the first time, the first character I played or acted as is different from the first character I created, but probably the same universe. So first character I played was Amy, Sonic's girlfriend.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I created a character in the Sonic universe. It is supposed to be Tails' son. And I named him Sparks.
Nice.
So yeah, he was all cool and emo and stuff like that. That was the puppy.
I think I'm a
Hi, puppy. Hi, JMO. We love you.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be back.
Okay. So, Andrew. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nat.
That was it.
All right. Andrew, what about you?
The first character that I played, I think I was sometime in elementary school, and the only reason I actually did this play was because I was trying to. My sister, she was doing acting at the time, my older sister, and so I wanted to tell her, like, this stuff was easy. Like I could do it. And so the school had a play, and I decided to audition, and I was like the snow tree in this winter play that we did. Um,
You were the best
it,
tree ever.
oh man, it was great. I had like 2 lines. I mean, it was perfect. Now, unfortunately, I kind of got turned off of from acting from that, from kind of a negative experience where when I kind of got bullied when I was younger, and my costume, one of the kids, he had kind of tore up my costume, and all of the little pieces took it off one night, and for me, it kind of turned me off from acting. So, but I'm glad that there were people in my life to again bring me back to where we are here now. So, the first one that I've created, besides like you know being a kid and creating many friends and things like that. Um, I think I was like in middle school, and kind of the role playing thing online. It was like I was big into like WWE and wrestling and stuff like that. And I created this guy. His name was Dr. Dietrich. Where I came up with him, I have no clue, but he was kind of a heel. Like basically, people loved to hate him. Like he was the bad guy. Um, and like if you were into wrestling at all, like when The Rock originally came out,
Oh yeah.
um, he was kind of a heel, but then obviously they changed him over into a pretty boy face, and so then he was always loved by the fans. But my character, Dr. Dietrich, he never switched to the other side. He was always a heel, and just quick, witty, but also rude and kind of aggressive. It just always his ish didn't stink. So, but yeah, that was like the first one that I created. But I've been writing probably since junior year of college. So,
Okay.
I've kept with multiple characters since then, and I'd love to eventually get some more of my writing out there. So,
Awesome. Kira, what about you?
So my first character, so there's this German author. His name is Janosch, and he writes he makes little drawings and stories for children. And he has these three iconic characters, and one of them is a little tiger, the other one is a little bear, and they have this duck with them. That's a tiger duck, eine Tigerente. And as a kid, I loved those stories. And then in elementary school, we put on a play, and our teacher chose that story. And it's about the little tiger and the little bear who are exploring the world with their tiger duck. And I was the little bear. And I loved playing that character. He's the more reasonable one of the two. Like the little tiger, he's always like charging and like everything's so great, and I wanna explore the world. And then the little bear is kind of more cautious, like, okay, we can do this, but let's plan first, which is kind of how I am in real life too. So I love that character. Yeah, that was like the first character that I got to play. To be honest, I haven't created that many characters. I like being on a stage, having that kind of as my safeguard, that somebody else created that character, that I can like slip into that character and take over their mannerisms or think about their story or more of that. The only character that I remember like actively creating was for a Halloween party a couple years ago with my theater friends, and we did kind of not Dungeons and Dragons, but like a game, like a murder mystery game, called, I think it was House on the Haunted Hill or something like that. And we created this adventure, and I was like, all the characters were like ghosts and like undead people and stuff like that. So I remember I created like a Victorian princess of some sort, and she was a ghost and had a fabulous mask on and stuff like that. So that was fun, but I
That's
don't
awesome.
remember much about her.
Yeah, House on Haunted Hill. Yes, that is a game. Yes, yeah. For me, oh God, the first character that I ever created probably would have come from dance, because I was in a lot of dance theater productions when I was younger. So I think the earliest one was when I was about 12 and we did Pied Piper, and I was one of the children that got taken away, and so we all got to like create our backstories and stuff like that, and we all had like our theater mom or our parents and stuff in the production, and so we get to like make up little stories about our families and stuff like that.
I love that.
And in terms of the first one that I ever played was, I think, 6th grade, which, yeah, that would have been the same year. I was in a production, we were doing a little play called The Tiger and the Brahmin, and I was the tiger. Except for that my costume, we didn't have any orange fabric, so we just sewed orange stripes onto black fabric, and so I was a reverse tiger.
I love that.
My face paint was all right, but my entire costume was backwards.
I was a little bear in a brown suit with bright blue socks because I forgot to change my socks that day.
Oh, that's adorable. All right, so let's go around again, starting with Rich. Your favorite and least favorite characters that you've either created or played.
Okay, my favorite character right now is Gracchus Tome Grimjoy, again from D&D.
Yes.
He is a rock dwarf. What do you call it? Right? Is that or gnome?
Rock gnome.
No, rock gnome. Yeah. Yes. So he's an artificer, which an artificer they can harness like weaponry and machinery with magic, and to create all sorts of cool stuff. He's got a really cool revolver that is something a la like Outlaw Star. If any of you guys remember that anime.
Ooh, yeah.
Right. And so he has a giant warehouse where he tinkers with all sorts of stuff. And one thing he has that I asked the DM to allow me to have is it's a giant pneumatic tube, and that every once in a while something will be will be sent to me from another universe. Like, that's all I know about it, is that it goes into another universe, and then there's a cool item that comes in. And the only way I can get something is if I bring something from my universe and put something like equally cool into it.
So you got a caster gun?
Yeah, I basically have a caster gun. But yeah, with that pneumatic thing, it kind of allowed us to bridge the gaps into a couple of other campaigns that same DM was doing.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's one guy I really like. He's super kooky. I think it was Atlantis, that the animated movie Search for Atlantis or whatever. Remember that really like weird guy with the glasses, and he's like, I made a he's like, anyway, he's
the
a little
weird
guy
tinker
with
guy.
Yeah, so think that kind of dude.
I like
it. Yeah. So that's kind of he's probably one of my favorites. My least favorite of characters I've created, I don't know.
Created or played?
Yeah. I think my least favorite was playing Chino in West Side Story.
Oh.
I just wasn't really a fan of how the director was doing stuff that whole production. So that just kind of bled into how well I was able to work on my character to a point without, and Chino just had like 3 lines and a couple crappy solos. So I got a named character in a musical, which was pretty sweet, but it wasn't very. I guess there wasn't much for me to go on. I just had to go out there and feel, and yeah. That's all. Maria.
So Nat, what about you?
My least favorite character is easier for me to think of than a favorite character. My least favorite character would had to have been, so I first got started in theater here with Run of the Mill Theater Productions, and the second play I was in, I played a character, I forget her name, but she was essentially a mom of a kid who, it was her job, like, she really wanted him to fit in and give him everything that she could. I'm not a mom. I don't have kids. I never intend to have kids. And I just also did not identify in any capacity with this character. She was very like flat to me. The other characters in the play, like I feel like I could have done a good job on, but this one character I just could not get a handle on. I couldn't really get a handle on her motivations, her feelings, her background, her thoughts. I just did not connect at all on any level. So, playing her was very difficult because I never really knew what kind of facial expressions I should be making, or except for this one monologue part that I had. I could do that part well, but yeah, just the rest of it I really didn't get. So
Yeah, that's hard when you can't connect with the
yeah,
character.
yeah, it was quite difficult. Everyone else was spicy in the play, but my character, and I like spicy, and I think in real life I'm not a spicy person, or in my head I'm spicy, but not outwardly. I'm very serious, but
Except for those who know you.
yeah. So that one's easiest for me to think of. Favorite characters. I mean, like I said, I was creating them since I was 8 with my best friend. We had hundreds of characters and, created them in all sorts of universes. So it was just kind of whatever we were doing or playing at that time. I had Sparks from the Sonic universe, but I had a ton of characters from Mega Man X.
Nice.
Loved Mega Man X. Yeah. Yeah. And I've only recently got involved in D&D, and that's been a little difficult for me to grasp because it's learning at the same time as playing a character.
Yeah. You did so good as Chief.
Chief was great. Chief is a wildcat. And what's Chief's class and all that again?
Chief was a Doomstalker Ranger.
Ooh, good memory.
Yeah, Chief was great. Chief was super goofy. Think Cat in Boots?
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots. Think Puss in Boots from Shrek. That was a lot like Chief.
Yep.
But my latest character that kind of stayed forever was this character named Abra, hence the name that I had been using. She was this kind of femme fatale character in my own this universe I had created in my head, where essentially you're transported into it's basically an RPG. Just imagine like real world, like Matrix kind of like. So there's this other world that you can create and you be yourself in, but then there's the actual like physical world you can. It's hard to explain. It's complicated on a show, but anyway. She was this femme fatale character. She was really cool. She was like had sorcerer powers, but was really just trying to kill this one dude. And so she used all of her feminine wiles and all of that to really just manipulate everyone and everything around her and get what she needed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Andrew.
I think my favorite character I ever played. Sorry, I'm cheating. It's kind of a tie between Crooks in of Mice and Men and the Superintendent from Avenue Q. So.
Oh, nice! I forgot you did Avenue Q.
Show.
Yeah,
Such a good show.
Well, I liked it. I mean, I liked a lot of the music that was in it. I had never worked on that show before. So it was all brand new, and I could kind of create that character based off of just the script and the music. So it was beautiful, and I really had to work for the music. It was really high.
Oh yeah.
But and then Crooks, just because at that time, like I was like my life was crazy at that time, and I had just blown out my knee, so I was on crutches already. And Crooks, it was perfect just because he's already supposed to have a broke back. So made the whole getting into that realm, that world of kind of, having worked really hard, but, have kind of now gotten that deformed aspect. It really got me into a good mindset. So, but yeah, those are two that I really liked. Something that I didn't really care for was again, and I just brought him up, the Dr. Dietrich. Just because at the time, like, I used that role playing as a way and an opportunity to, like, find my voice. But then as it started to, like, maneuver into, like, my real life, like, I just didn't like the person I was becoming, and I felt like Dr. Dietrich was coming out into reality per se. So, like, I was just becoming rude, and I had to find that good line of, finding my voice and being able to be assertive, also not being rude at the same time. So, but double-edged sword on that one.
Okay. And Kira?
Hey,
Oh, what's up?
I would.
Sorry.
Nat,
Nat,
you wanted to say something.
go ahead, Nat.
no, I just get I'm awkward. Okay. I just wanted to change my answer to Envy Adams when I do karaoke.
Yes! Oh,
Yeah, she's really good at it.
I need to see
That's-
that sometime.
Yeah, me too, please.
That's one of my favorite movies. All right, Kira, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm also gonna do a tie. I loved playing a little bit of Shakespeare. We did a production of Much Ado About Nothing when I was in high school, and I was Beatrice, and I love her. She's feisty, she's fierce, she has a lot of opinions, and I love playing that, especially because the guy I was playing it with, he also did a really good job at like snapping back and like yeah, that was such a fun experience. And then the other one is the first time that I didn't have the stage as my safeguard was we did a fantasy day at my university, and a bunch of theater groups, we were asked to create to play characters from fantasy. So I dressed up and acted as Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter.
Wow, good.
And I love her. She's my favorite character, and I love how crazy she is, but also how wise she is behind all of that. Like, she has such good intuition. She has such a wisdom about people and things that you don't necessarily would know. So I loved doing that and acting a little bit crazy, a little bit loony for a whole day. That was a lot of
little
fun.
aloof.
Yeah. And then my least favorite, I can't really think. One part that I did that wasn't a lot of fun to do, only because it was physically really hard. We once did a Christmas skit, and we were elves, and we were on our knees the whole time. So it was like a 10-minute skit, and we were basically walking about the stage on our knees, which we didn't have like knee pads or anything.
Oh,
That
no.
wasn't a lot of fun. The sketch was fun, but doing it wasn't that much fun.
Let's see. My least favorite character that I've done, probably when I was one of the narrators for Vagina Monologues, only because it was my first time doing community theater. I was scared out of my mind, and I was just a narrator.
Yeah, that's a hard one to like start off with.
Yeah. And then I go to now, same kind of thing. Favorite character has got to be the character that I created for Shattuck, which was the narrator for Romeo and Juliet, and just the absolute ridiculous, over the top. Like, we're encouraged, because it's Ren Fair, we're encouraged to overact as much as we want. So I got to pull Mrs. Doubtfire out of the bag and just throw that at the world and just be like, hello.
Sorry, I missed that. Ugh.
Yeah. The narrator part's probably tied with my last D&D character, which was a tiny little goblin sorcerer bard named Pink Eye, who had a bottomless bag of glitter she thought was plague powder. And we had a house rule that it would spread 5 feet every round, so I was constantly covering people in glitter in our campaign. But I was really bad at stealth, so when I would go invisible, like, I would just leave little glittery footprints.
That's great.
I love the specificity of it. That's great.
Yep. Okay, so this is kind of all for everybody. What are some of your like major influences and inspiration when it comes to creating characters? Like, do you tend to pull from like pop culture, life, like people you know? I know a lot of people pull from uh, pop culture and stuff like that, but like games, books, movies.
For me, I've been influenced a lot by mostly cartoons that I've grown up with. Dragon Ball Z, let's see, Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, and more into my adult life has been Adventure Time, hence my cool ass shirt. Uh,
Yes.
I what I particularly love about Adventure Time and the characters that Pendleton Ward and everybody else involved has created is just their cadence of their voice, of all sorts of voices are just they're so out there in ways that I've never really considered delivering. I think a lot of actors like were considering being voice actors. That's something I would love to dabble with more. So like, but anyway, yeah, it just really broadened my mind about what a character can be, what kind of stupid little beast or monster or dude can be. So yeah, those are some of my influences as of late.
Okay. Nat?
I don't really know. I guess it would have to be kind of more like real life. So when I'm acting, figuring out the emotions of my character in a particular situation, I try to channel similar emotions that I've experienced in my life when I'm creating that character in that sense. So I kind of draw from my own experiences there, but when I'm like creating a character from scratch, gosh, I just draw on anything and everything. Mostly, I used to play a lot of Japanese RPGs growing up, so it's a lot of the role playing style when I'm figuring out a character. Like, well, what's their class? Are they, are they more of a sorcerer? Are they a paladin? Or there's a cat about to get on the screen.
Hello. Catvasion.
Yeah.
Catception.
Cat
Ooh,
butt.
cat butt. Yes.
Sorry, get out of here.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say video games.
And cats are also an inspiration for me.
Oh, yes.
Well, only recently. Yeah.
Andrew, what about you?
A lot of my family. They're all kooky in their own respects, and some of my friends as well too. To be able to kind of take some of like their those things that you do when like not necessarily nobody's looking or you think nobody's looking, like, oh, I tap my fingers or I roll my thumb, or, you know what I mean? So like, and just making those bigger, similar conversations that we're having out in today, everyday life, again, depending on the character and setting and stuff like that. But really just trying to take the stuff that I'm seeing, hearing, feeling every day and making it bigger. That's kind of the but as far as like influencing, more so, I do a lot of video games. I play a lot of video games, so like characters from there, I help kind of like drive those back into characters that I'm building, because I'm like, oh, hey, if that was like an actual person in real life, like that'd be wild. So yeah, between people and life and video games. Video games are life.
Yes.
Kira, what about you?
I would completely agree with that. I would say it's twofold for me as well. This is my third time that I've lived in a foreign country and kind of gone abroad, and the people you meet, just like strangers on a train, or also people that you get to know when you go to a new place, to a new country, and another culture. Those are always really fascinating. Either stories that they tell you or stories that you can like think about and make up. I've always been like sitting on a train or a bus or somewhere. I like to make up stories about the people around me. And if there's a guy with a big hat, where did he get that hat from? And where's he going? And what's he doing with that? And all of that. I really like that. And I like to like make notes about it and write like little stories and stuff like that. So that is one thing. And then popular culture, yes, a lot for me. Kind of in my costume, I love Studio Ghibli. All of the especially the strong female characters. Like I'm Kiki right now. I love Chihiro. I love Princess Mononoke, and I especially love Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, yes.
She's like my idol because she goes from this kind of very insecure person to a very strong female character, and she discovers her love for herself while discovering the power that she can hold. And I'm a big fan of that. And the other one I've already mentioned too is like the world of Harry Potter. Those were kind of what got me. I think we posted this on Facebook the other day too. The seventh Harry Potter book was the first book I ever read in English, and that kind of sent me down this path of being interested in foreign cultures, foreign languages, wanting to go abroad and live in another country, another language, and all of that. And I think the characters in those worlds that I was reading as I was growing up and seeing as I was growing up kind of played a huge part of that.
Awesome. For me, it is cartoons a lot. I was obsessed with cartoons since I was a little kid. I've loved like every form of animation. I'm not as big into anime, that's my brother's thing, but there's definitely been characters from anime that have influenced me. But like when I'm character and world building, like it goes back to stuff from the 80s and 90s to nowadays, and like for me, I also find that music plays a big role when character creating. Like I find myself building soundtracks of like what I think like this character would listen to. Like that's one of my favorite things to do. But yeah, for me for the most part it would be animation and just uh British comedy because that's what I was raised on watching PBS and stuff. So like Monty Python or like the Mrs. Doubtfire characters is supposed to be very British and all that kind of stuff. And just oh hello, and just any excuse to be over the top and zany, I'm all for it. Hi camera, what's up? Let's see. Uh, what about putting yourself into characters? Is there, like, have you ever played a role or created a character that you've put a part of yourself into? Like, whether a certain part of your personality or maybe like a certain fear or their goals or whatever.
Yeah, for me, when I was playing Mercutio and Romeo and Juliet years ago at ICCT, I was trying to think of like kind of what Andrew was talking about is find like a mannerism that I am prone to, like putting my hand through my hair or any kind of little tics that I've noticed on either myself or people around me. Like I like to magnify that. And so, yeah, I found that just what I like to do is walk through the space how I think Mercutio would be, and like just how do I explore the space in different frames of mind? Like, am I hunting for something? Am I looking for something, or am I trying to hide from something? I find that helps me get into character a lot about like how do they maneuver through space and how do they do so with little funny mannerisms too that you can really identify with that person.
Cool.
I tend to really feel drawn to characters that are like the opposite of how I feel I project myself in real life. In the sense that inside I feel often, this is going to sound like really negative, but like bitter and resentful and angry and with big, strong emotions. And I feel often I portray myself, at least within academia and for a long time, as this sort of grounded listener, quiet kind of person. So I use theater and acting and karaoke, even when I'm in character, is an opportunity to get like all of those pent up inner emotions out. So like I'm able to put those aspects of myself into those characters. So like, for example, when I do Envy Adams and sing her songs in karaoke, like I get all of the like rage and the fire that I feel I have inside, and I just throw it out. It's all out there. So like I really put those aspects of myself into whatever character I'm playing. So like the first time I acted on stage, I had to just wear underwear most of the time. I was in underwear, and it, like right after me and this other character had sex, we were having an affair. And first time on stage in front of people, just me in my underwear. And so, you know, being able to be comfortable with that takes a certain amount of those kind of like guttural feelings. And so I like putting that part of myself really front and center in whatever character I'm playing.
Yeah, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, really playing off of kind of what Matt had said. Really just like whatever I'm feeling like in my personal life. I mean, I just try to hone a lot of that energy. So, and actually, along the way, one of my acting teachers, he had broke it down, and I was like, oh my God, this all makes sense from now on. But he had used the definition of for acting as living truthfully within imaginary circumstances. And so for me, I'm like, holy smokes, like, okay, so when people are like crying on stage or really get that rage, like that's all coming from me, Andrew, but yet I've got Dietrich Dr. Dietrich's jacket on, his circumstances. So really trying to like again, off of what Rich had said, trying to get into that mindset to start making some of those choices that the character would make within those circumstances. um Making that all connection. Now, no, I'm not out in my every single day trying to be these, alter egos or these characters every day, but while I'm working on them, I definitely have my moments when I'm at home and I'm, my daughter, or, my friends are like, what are you doing right now? Oh, my bad. I'm just trying to be my character. You know what I mean? I'm rehearsing, but you got to get into it and just again make sure that you're creating and again being truthful with those circumstances, emotions. So
Yeah. Kira?
For me, it was kind of the other way around. I started acting at a time when I was trying to like kind of find a safe space for me and also deal with a lot of stuff. A lot of bullying that was going on, and having characters that were stronger, more self-confident than me kind of helped me first of all put myself in that mind space, and then kind of trying to draw from that in my own personal life to become more self-confident, to project the way I wanted to be seen to the world instead of the way I was actually feeling a lot of the times. So I would say like a lot of that is still the same. Now I'm at a point where I'm really comfortable with who I am, and I start drawing from that more when I playing characters on stage. But what Andrew just said really resonates with me too, that you kind of put yourself on the stage within imaginary circumstances, but you draw from yourself. So yeah, kind of a development happening there.
For me, and much like Natalie said, I like playing characters that are kind of the opposite of myself, though I think I've had the most fun with the ones that I've put a lot of myself into, like Pink Eye, where she was just weird and zany and did whatever she wanted, which is something I wish I could do, just do whatever I want and say whatever I want. But like there's regardless of how zany or serious the character is, I always give them some sort of eccentricity that like just something that makes them a little bit weird, a little bit eccentric, that is some like I do, whether weird habits or phrasing that I use, or like uh or like I'm a person that has an issue with being like self-aware of the space around myself, so I walk into things a lot. So like I'll put that into a character kind of a thing. It could be like a completely serious character, but like every time they go through a door, they like walk into the door frame or something like that.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a painful choice too.
Yeah, I forget the door was just installed yesterday. It's maybe
Yeah.
been there for 10 years, but to me it was installed yesterday.
Yeah. Yes.
Tree
All
came out
right.
of
Um, let's see. What about a dream character to either play or create for?
Ooh.
Or a world?
Yeah. A dream character for me, I would love to play any of three characters in Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes.
I would like to be Seymour, the dentist, or Audrey too.
Yes.
Come on, Seymour.
Oh yeah, like
Baby.
that was one of the first Broadway productions I ever saw live, and that I loved the movie because Steve Martin just killed me, slayed that role. um, yeah, I would, and I love all those singing roles too. So I would love to be in that production in any way, shape, or form. I would even be happy directing, I suppose, but I really want to be on stage. I want to play those characters.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, and they're all so different too. So I would have a really good time auditioning for any of them.
Nat?
I don't really have an answer.
That's okay.
I mean, if Scott Pilgrim was like a show and I could act as NV Adams, that would be freaking awesome.
Yes. That needs to happen. I agree. We all need to petition Edgar Wright to make a theater production of this.
Oh, we can do that. Yeah. Yeah.
I like her spiciness.
A musical.
Yes.
We're gonna do a musical.
Oh gosh.
I mean, it's half musical anyway.
I know.
Yeah.
Andrew, what about you?
I ever since I've gotten into theater, I have had the biggest aspiration to put on The Wiz.
Yes,
like the Black.
we were talking about that.
Yeah, so like, I mean, if I could play the Scarecrow, the Lion, I mean, the Tin Man, I mean, shoot, any role in that musical, that play, that would be amazing. Especially especially the Scarecrow, just because paying homage to MJ, R.I.P. But yeah, great production. I'd love to be a part of that. So again, I would love to do it, but I would love to be on stage as well. So
Kira, what about you? Like bringing Studio Ghibli to life, or?
It's a good idea. I was thinking about more. I'm a huge musical theater nerd, but I can't sing, so that kind of sets me up for a lifetime of disappointment with being cast in one. I love Elphaba from Wicked. I actually wrote my bachelor thesis about Wicked, so that kind of tells you how much I love that. More realistically, I would love, and this is a strange one, I would love to be the narrator from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh,
That would be a
yeah.
fun one. Yeah.
I love his or her character in whatever version you can put it on, and I love the sass. I love that he's talking to the audience and kind of putting his own spin on things. Yeah, that has kind of been a dream, a little bit of a dream. We were once like thinking about maybe putting it on, but then like that is a very hard show to like organize and even get like the people who are capable of doing all of that, be it walking in heels to like singing that kind of songs,
Oh my
dancing
God.
too.
Yes.
I
Uh,
a couple months with the audition for that Rocky Horror back in the Quad Cities at Circa.
Oh man.
Yeah, for
I,
not the narrator, but the lead role.
Oh.
It would have been pretty dope.
Brad.
Yeah.
Brad. Janet.
Damn it,
Brad.
Jen.
I used to have a coworker named Janet, and we would sing to her all the time.
Oh yeah.
Poor Janet.
But it was "Damn it, Janet, I love you."
Damn it.
Oh god, you guys to like learn that song. I kept messing up like all the time, so I should put bloopers out there somewhere because it was pretty comedy. Like singing all the lyrics all wrong, like making stuff up. Like, why are you not getting this, man? Come on now.
Probably something I would love to be in is actually something that Andrew's been in, which is Avenue Q, as I would love to be
Oh.
Kate Monster.
Yeah.
I know nothing about puppetry, but I can certainly learn.
Oh my God. That would be a great show to be in.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Hey, that poetry, man, that's harder than you think, man. That like being able to make, I mean, like moving the arms and getting all that stuff, that's one thing, but then also trying to like make sure the mouth is, moving fluently with what you're saying or singing or whatever. Oh gosh. So
Yeah.
yeah, there was a number where I had to,
It combines
do my
musical theater and Muppets. What's not to love about it?
Guys, quick ROM note. Why don't we do a puppet show? Why don't we do some? You could do a puppet show somehow.
Where are we going to get the puppets?
Yeah, that's the only thing I was wondering.
We need them.
Hey, if there can be a D&D stream here on Twitch where they have half the characters as Muppets, we can probably make that work.
Yes.
Lamb chop just
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
Sock puppets.
Oh, we can do an R-rated lamb chop version. Oh.
Yeah, I was just say I think I remember making sock puppets when back in the day.
How hard can it be?
Art finds a way.
Finds a
You
way.
can find everything on YouTube.
That's
Mhm.
true. There's always the tutorials. Well, that kind of wraps up for the most part. Let's talk about what's coming next for ROM.
Cool. So we're gonna be doing a variety show fundraiser in Iowa City. Be January 21st at the Artifactory. That's downtown Iowa City, right next to Pop's Barbecue on Dubuque and Market Street. We are going to be gathering a number of local artists and performers of all types. So if you out there are local-ish and want to perform for us on stage and a number of other people in the area, please hit us up at romtheateric@gmail.com. Right?
Yeah.
I'll put
Yeah,
that in the
that's it.
chat so that people have that.
Yeah. Shoot
Yeah.
us an email. Let
It's
us know what you can do.
Theatra, right?
Yeah, with an
Yes.
RE because we're pretentious.
Yes.
Right?
And yeah, most of the funds go to our next show, which
Is
I don't. Should we announce it?
no, we can't do a hard announce yet because the person hasn't figured out
Yeah.
if they can actually put it on. But we had a production of Titus Andronicus that had to be canned due to COVID, obviously. So we're hoping that we can still get the director to put that on again in the springtime.
Yes.
That would be great.
And we are also open to other show considerations. If you guys have a show kicking around in the back of your mind and you want to put it on, hit us up. We're here to make your dreams come true.
All right. Anything else that you guys have or want to talk about before we wrap this up?
I'm doing scenic design for City Circle's production of Camelot that goes up in February. It's a, what do you call it?
That's one I've
concert
never
version.
seen.
Yeah, it's a concert version, so it won't be. It's gonna be great. It's not gonna be like a full-fledged like that moving set pieces, but it's gonna be cool. Come check it out.
Right.
Anything else I'm doing? You do anything?
No, I wish I could do karaoke. It is my outlet, but
I miss karaoke too.
I know
I
it's
miss
the word.
the mill.
I know.
Yes.
Why can't we do it? Why can't we do the karaoke?
Need
We-
the mill.
well-
Like all you guys talk about is that.
I
It would have
know.
been so great.
The mill's
I
a
get it.
wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful
There's other
place.
places that do karaoke.
What?
I said there's other places that do karaoke though.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard in the COVID world. Like,
We
how
should
are
just
the
do
mics?
karaoke at your place and just put it on the TV and
We
just
have
do
a
it via YouTube.
Worry.
We got speakers and shit
And
microphones.
in
A projector
a
screen
projector screen.
Oh hell yeah! We need to
So-
have a karaoke party sometime.
for New Year's Eve. We might do that.
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
not
yes.
gonna be there.
Oh,
Boom.
sad day.
Well, we'll do karaoke
In
again.
the
Don't
same
worry.
family.
Name.
I know. How dare I? Andrew, you got any cool projects?
Not really. I've actually just kind of been getting back into my writing a little bit more, and so trying to come up with some new characters, and I'll probably have something out at some point. So
Sounds good.
Carrie, you got anything coming up?
I'm going to be stage managing this one year, the Triangle Factory Fire Project. ICCTV is putting that on in the second and third weekend of February, I think. It's still kind of up in the air right now. But yeah, that is one that is not that much fun, but a very dramatic play.
Gotcha.
So,
We need
a little
that
bit of a
sometimes.
different vibe.
oh yeah.
All right. Well, I just want to thank all of you guys for coming tonight. This has been awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
And as always, don't forget to love each other, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.
Yeah. See you
Bye.
soon.
All
Goodbye,
right.
everybody out there.
Bye.
Bye forever.
All right, we're gonna go find somebody to raid.